Good morning to everybody tuning in with me on this fantabulous Wednesday. Hey, y'all. I hope y'all are doing well on today as I dive into a very brief moment of motivation for us all on today. All right. I hope you guys have been doing well. I hope your day goes well, honey. And I hope you are feeling well. Remember, self care is very important. Make sure you are prioritizing the affairs in your life, building a concrete relationship with the creator so that you can thrive, so that you can function at your best, so that you can be the best version of yourself. All right. Very brief motivation on the go with myself on today, serving as a reminder to guard that tongue. All right. Y'all, we need to make sure we are guarding our tongues. Okay. Remember, the Bible even tells us that life or death is in the power of the tongue. So you got to be careful with your words. All right. Y'all, the world is in a very bad situation right now, and we have to be careful with not only what we say, how we say it as well. All right. Sometimes it's best to keep that mouth closed and live to see another day. Y'all, there are so many people in the ground right now because their pride wouldn't allow them to be quiet. Their pride wouldn't allow them to just, brush something off. They had to say something. Maybe they had to get the last word in, or they may have said something that straight daggered somebody unstable through their hearts. And that person reacted in a way in which they lost their lives. Hey, keep it simple. Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you, kids. How you doing? Good to see you on today. So yeah, y'all, my reminder, be very mindful of those words that you spew out of your mouth. It can cost you your life. All right. Sometimes it's best to stop, think, meditate on certain things before saying it. And not only that, you don't know who a person is protected by when you come with, those words cut in like a two-edged sword. You don't know who that person is protected by. And I'm speaking on a spiritual level. And then they go and turn to the creator to pray about something you've said. Now God is going to be on your tail. And not just that, again, people are unstable in their minds on today. They are unstable. And you could lose your life. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I have a friend whose husband was in prison for quite some time, and we were more so co-workers. I wouldn't say friends. We were co-workers, and we talked quite a bit. And I remember her just looking forward to her husband coming home. She was so excited. She had so many things planned. I'm not sure what he was in prison for, but I think it was a situation where it doesn't matter. It was something that I think he shouldn't have been there for. But anywho, I remember her being so excited and ecstatic about him coming home. You said it. Most people open their mouth and then that's it, gone. You're right, kids. I know people personally that are in the ground because they couldn't control their tongue. So yes, you're absolutely right about that. But yeah, y'all, my coworker, again, her husband released from prison. He had been locked up for many, many years, and we were all excited for her. Is all she spoke about. Well, what happened is one evening he hadn't even been out for maybe a couple of weeks, and they were on their way back, I think from a date, she said, and someone ran them off the road. Okay, so they ran them off the road. They could have literally went down in a ditch, but they didn't. And so instead of them letting that ride, going on about their business, being grateful to God that they didn't go into the ditch, well, her husband decides to hop back on the road and pursue the person that ran them off the road. Guess what happened, y'all? He caught up with that man. He had his choice of words, and that man unalived him. That's what happened. Fresh out of prison, having a wife ready to continuously build and get past whatever it is that put him there. His choice of words in that moment and what he said to that man cost him his life. That man unalived him. And what's even sadder is the man that unalived him, he wasn't locked up because he was defending himself. Think about that. He ran the man off the road. This is true. But then the man hawked him down. Okay, cornered him, hopped up out of his car and approached him. So that put that man into a position where he was afraid for his life. He defended himself and he took that man's life. Y'all, our words can truly cost us more than we've ever bargained for. Be very careful about what you say and how you say it. Not only that, some of you guys say things so hurtful, so distasteful. I mean, that cut so deep to the core. And then later on, you realize, man, I did too much. Well, it's too late. It's too late because those words have already rolled off of your tongue. It's already affected whomever you aim those words at. So you got to be careful and get those words, get that tongue under control. Again, the word says life or death is in the power of the tongue. Honey, you choose. You need to be careful. If it gets to the point where you just feel like you absolutely have to say something, do whatever it takes to refrain from doing so. I'm going to tell y'all right now, unless it's a direct threat against my life or my children's, honey, you can have it. I'm not about to go back and forth with anybody. We are living in a different time. And a lot of things happen that make me want to go off. Okay, a lot of things happen, not even go off, that make me want to voice certain things. But you never know the state of mind that the person is in that you're saying those things to. And if you have to say something, be sure to season those words with salt. Season those words with salt, honey, as the word says, so that it's easier for the person you're giving them to digest them. You don't know the state of someone's stability on a mental level, honey, and it can cost you your life. Shay, some people don't choose to be humble. They choose freedom of speech. I'm macho man or woman. Oh, it's true. Oh, listen, you are spot on with that. This freedom of speech thing puts people in a position where they do believe, oh, I can say what I want to say. You know, who's going to stop me? Who's going to check me? You're absolutely right. And it's so unfortunate because sometimes a weapon stops you, honey. Okay. Or sometimes, I mean, it could be anything but something that you weren't expecting. So just because we have freedom of speech, it can still cost you everything. It can cost you your life. I've sat in a courtroom before where a man, he was in court, he was, visiting the court with someone else who had court. And he was saying something sideways, wouldn't shut up. Yeah, that freedom of speech got him locked up. The judge straight had the bailiff go lock him up for interrupting her courtroom. So much for freedom of speech, right? Yeah, you have the freedom of speech, but in that courtroom, you couldn't contain yourself, and that judge locked you up. And here you were probably just supporting someone while they were there for whatever they had going on. So yeah, all in all, y'all, listen, guard that tongue. Get it in check, honey. Pray to God to help you get it under control. You can lose your life. All right. And although that's to the extreme, there are other things that can happen, before you get to that point. But you can lose your freedom over, not choosing your words properly. But you can definitely lose your life. Again, we're living in a mad hour, y'all. The times we live in are times like we've never seen before. And people have really lost it. Not only that, so many people are filled with darkness, y'all, and devilish type spirits. And you'll think they're just cool, calm, and collective, and you're going to run off your mouth at them. Next thing you know, they're up on you, And we like to feel so sorry for the person who gets the short end of the stick when they say something smart. And I'm not taking up for the aggressor. What I'm saying is, y'all, we can't control others, but we can control ourselves. Let me say that again. We can't control others. We cannot control how somebody else responds, but we can control ourselves. You can control your tongue. You can control what you say. And again, if you absolutely have to say something, season those words with salt. Okay? Macho man, listen, thinking about you saying macho man, kiss. Macho man can get put down too. Don't let your pride cost you your life because you're macho man or you're macho woman. Oh, I can say what I want to say. Yes, you can say what you want to say, honey. But those consequences, you never know which way that's going to, how it's going to end. So it's best to be humble. Just like Kiss said, we need to be humble. And there's not enough humble people in the world today. Good morning, Rooks. I hope you and your family are well, honey. It's good to see you on this morning. Hey, Tammy, welcome in. It's good to see you as well. First Lady, my sister. Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you as well. Good morning to all of y'all tuning in, y'all. Just some brief motivation, y'all, to guard our tongues because end game is it can cost us our lives. God has forewarned us about that. And for some reason, we still think that it's a game. We still think it's a game. And even if it doesn't cost you your life physically, again, you don't know to what extent those words may hurt someone who's protected by the Creator. And instead of them mouthing off at you, they're going to turn to God in prayer about what you did to them. And now God is going to spin the block on their behalf. So you got to be careful. All right. We live in a day and time where we're running with everything. Just like Kid said, freedom of speech. Honey, that is a trick of the enemy to a certain extent, because we're not thinking rationally. Yes, you do have freedom of speech, but at the end of the day, you having that freedom of speech could cost you your life. Y'all, it's real out here. I see too much happening on a regular basis. And like, for those of y'all just tuning in, I gave the example of my friend girl, how she lost her husband because he could not control his tongue. Was he in the wrong? Maybe. Okay. But at the end of the day, he couldn't control his tongue, and it cost him his life. So yeah, guys, people aren't right. People aren't always right in their minds. And honey, you may come across somebody at the wrong time and they spaz out on you. So that's why we have to make sure that we're in our right state of mind. And again, one of the ways that we do that is we need to focus on our self-care and that relationship with God. Honey, I'm going to tell you something. Unless you're physically trying to assault me, you can say what you want to say. I'm going to tell you right now, unless you are physically trying to assault me, say what you want to say, honey. Okay? It's not worth my life. It's not worth my livelihood. I have children I'm raising, children who depend on me. I need to be here. I have a family who love me and care for me. Think of some of the things you have to live for before you let someone draw you out and into conflict. Hey, Tia, welcome in. It's so good to see you. Because believe it or not, y'all, that's one of the biggest tricks of the enemy anyway, is to draw us out into conflict. Y'all, Satan loves to put us in these peculiar situations where we're having the hardest time trying to get out of it. And it can be something as simple as not being able to control your tongue. I'm telling y'all, it's just something to think about. It's my motivation for you guys on today, because again, I get it. I understand people, they can take us there. People can cause us to get out of character, cause us to want to, what they say, throw those hands, honey. I've been there, okay? But I thank God for growth. And instead of fighting those battles myself, I learned to just let God do it, okay? Because believe me, your words cannot punish a person more than God's wrath can. Let me say that again. Your words cannot punish a person more than God's wrath can. All right? So yeah, y'all, just think about it the next time someone comes and disturbs your peace, come at you with some bull or whatever. Just think about this motivation here on today. Guard your tongue. It's a trick of the enemy. If I can get Rooks to cut up, okay. If I can get Tia to cut up, okay. Let me get First Lady over here to cut up. And yes, let me tell you something. It takes strength. It takes discipline too, Rooks. A lot of times we talk about these things, but from the back end standpoint, it takes discipline. Because one thing I can honestly say about myself is my mouth, honey, it wasn't always as tame as it is now. Seriously. And if I felt offended in any way, if I felt like you were trying to play me or, whatever, if I felt any type of a way adversely, my mouth could get sideways. I remember that. I remember those, now when I look back, it's been a while, but I've been that person. I've been that person who would feel like, oh no, how dare you? You disrespect me. Oh no, let me say this. But I thank God for growth, because, that was back before at least the world got to the extreme where it is now. I can say that. But the world has gone mad. We're in a completely different place. Shay, I never believed that, honey. Let me tell you, I've always been loving, kind, sweet. That part I've always been. But I can honestly say my mouth, honey, had to go through some, honey, deliverance. And it wasn't that I would just lash out on people. I didn't know how to process feeling disrespected. So if you said something to me sideways, I would chew you up. Okay? If you hurt my feelings, I would chew you up. And, it was just, one of those things. Like I said, thank God I was delivered from. I thank God I don't I'm not like that anymore. But see, the thing is, Satan knows what we come from. He knows what we were. So if he can draw us out, think about it. You know how you have people who hate to, really see you in your new era, this new and improved person. Satan hates to see it the most. So he knows that, man, Shay used to be Shay would chew you up. And he would try to use that against me. He would orchestrate situations where I'd have to defend myself just to see, well, what is Shay going to do? Satan does those types of things. So that's why we have to show enough be careful. So yeah, I never just, disrespected people or anything like that. But if I felt disrespected, oh, you were going to know about it. And I had some choice of words. And what's crazy about it is I was never a person who cursed a lot. That wasn't me. I would say what I meant and I would just say what I had to say, but it would cut so deep, honey. Sometimes I would blow myself. So, but yeah, honey. Anyway, thank God for growth. Thank God for growth. That's what I'm gonna say. I just thank God for growth. So yeah, we just gotta be careful with that. So hey, SBK, welcome in. Good morning. Good morning to everybody. Anybody else who's tuned in, good morning, y'all. Again, y'all, as I wrap it up, guard that tongue. I didn't mean to ramble on for a minute, but it just goes to show how God can deliver you, even if you do have a mouth on you, okay? He can put anything in check. As we grow closer to God, that's his job. He cleanses us up in all areas of our lives. Not some areas, not one area, not two areas, in all areas of our lives. He comes in and he helps us. See, now when you offend me, to be honest with you, it's going to take a lot. Like I said, unless it's, going to cause direct harm to me or my children, I'm not really paying it any attention. So you can't even take me to that place right now. But people still try it. People who know me, even people who don't know me. And again, I think sometimes people will just try me, because when you claim to live for God and be this refined person, you're going to have haters that'll try to poke you into doing something and getting out of character, so they can say, oh, but she says she loves God. Oh, but she says she rocks with God. And I dislike those people so much. And you got to be careful and stay away from those types of people, because they're trying to provoke you anyways. So you got to be careful with that. Some people will just try to provoke you anyway. I'm a little reserved, but don't get it twisted. Hello, come, First Lady. Hold on. I'm a little reserved, but don't get it twisted. Hello. That just comes from our imperfections, and people will try you. People will try you and try you and try you. And when you don't respond how they want you to, they'll call you weak, or they'll say, or you're lame. Honey, call me whatever you want to call me. Okay, that's fine by me. I know the tactics of an enemy. And if you're trying to pull me out of character, I don't care who you are, family member, neighbor, you are an enemy. There's an enemy spirit dwelling within you if you are trying to pull me out of character. And again, I just thank God that I can recognize that and keep it moving. Again, I'm going to go in somewhere and pray for you, honey, because what I do now is I go snitch to God. People always, snitches aren't popular today. Yeah, I know. But I go right on and snitch to God on anybody who does something sideways to me. And guess what? He always comes through. I don't sit and wait for what he does to people. He's shown me enough. I know what he's going to do, especially if you don't turn away from your ways and cut that out. Oh, honey, he's going to come through. He's already made that promise. He's already proved himself to me in my life, honey. Don't get me going down that road. We'll be talking all day. God has proved to me that he's going to handle my enemies or anybody who's come against me. He's done it before. He's doing it currently, and he will do it in the future. So, yeah, I just learned to give that battle to God. And most people don't know, but you know how that goes. It's always that one or two that want to see. Brooks, you are talking a whole message right now. Listen, you are talking a whole message right now. And I just, people like that aggravate me to my core. All right? They aggravate me to my core. As in, see your other side. I get it. Yeah. But God, hello. Because what people don't realize is just because we become molded by God, just because God comes in and cleans us up, people think that, oh, all of a sudden you're this, or you're perfect now. No, you're not. The scriptures tells us that we have to strive daily. Okay, for me to be able to guard my tongue, be a good person, make, better choices in life, I have to strive daily. This is a daily struggle. Satan isn't somewhere sleeping, giving me a break. He's not giving anybody a break. He's waiting for us to start slacking in the faith, slacking in those prayers, slacking by doing the right thing. And that's when he comes and bounces in for the attack. So it's a daily fight. It's a daily fight. So I just try my best to do my part and inculcating God into my life, because I know what worked for me. And it's a foolproof system. And again, I just pray for those who say, oh, I'm going to do this to Shay. I'm going to test Shay. I know people right now sitting in some spaces wishing that they hadn't have done things to me. I don't wish ill on anybody. You get a lesson out of everything. Some have come forth and apologized about certain things, and some haven't. But I don't sit around worrying about it, and I don't look at a person sideways who has come and apologized, because I understand how the spiritual realm works. I understand how the power of influence works. And some people are just weak. It is what it is. I'm not trying to be funny. Some people are just weak. Some people are followers. Some people are I'm going to do what my crew is doing type people. Like, there's so many reasons that provoke people to do things that they do. And instead of me trying to figure that out, that's not my job. I just forgive and try not to even bring it up again. But that's only if we remain in that place, that we got to after the forgiveness. Because you can't just come and ask for forgiveness and just keep doing the same thing. It didn't work like that. So I just fight daily to do the right thing. Miss Me 4026, welcome in. Good morning. Blessings to you as well. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna get on up off of here. Y'all done kept me on here too long. I wasn't supposed to be on here this long. I just wanted to, again, just to encourage and motivate you all to guard your tongue. And, judged by some of you are in here, especially you, my sisters, honey, I know how it is. And people are always testing us anyway. Especially in today's time, it's tough out here. So this is when the enemy tries to attack the most. You know it. He uses the positions that we're in to weaken us spiritually. Oh, look at Shay over there. Oh, she's going through something right now. Let me go over there and mess with her. That's why the scripture says we have to put on that full armor, that full body armor. And the reason we have to do that is because when Satan comes on that one day to test you, and you're strong and you're all booted up and armored up, he's like, yeah, I can't get her today. Nah, I'll be back. He only goes off and looks for a more opportune time. All right. Never think Satan isn't riding your back. Satan is always out to get those of us who are striving daily to do right by God. His minions, people whom have signed forces with him, he's not worried about them. He has them pretty much where he wants them. But if you're striving to do right by God, think about it. Satan wants to be the Most High God. He wants it real bad. So if we're striving to do right by the Creator, yeah, he's definitely trying to mess that up for us. So we just have to be very, very careful. And again, just like Rook says, especially in today's time, y'all, the days are getting more wicked. Pay attention to the signs. I'm going to tell y'all something before I leave as well. When you're spiritually in tune, you see exactly what the Bible has foretold. If you're not spiritually inclined, meaning you don't have God's Holy Spirit, that veil hasn't been lifted, you don't see it. And that's when you'll hear people say stuff like, oh, times aren't really that bad, or the world has always been bad, or this isn't going to happen. They don't see it. That's because the eyes of the unbelievers have been blinded. That's in the scripture. Get in the word and find out, honey. One of the gifts of stepping into alignment is to see what God sees. That's a gift, honey. Don't sit on it. Don't brush it off. There's a reason you have that insight, and God gives that to us. So we're going to always see exactly what the word has foretold or prophesied. We're going to see those things. Whereas a person who has been blinded, they will not. They don't get that gift. They don't get that privilege. They're out here being led by blindness, by the blind, should I say, and they're blinded themselves. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind as well, y'all. But again, guard that tongue. It can cost you your life. A coworker of mine lost her husband, y'all. And that just hits home for me because I think that's just the icing on the cake as far as I want you guys to really take in the message to guard your tongue. This man was upset. He was mad. You ran me off the road. I could have went in a ditch. But I really wish he would have just been more grateful that he didn't go in that ditch. I wish he would have just been more grateful that he didn't crash rather than chasing that man down, running up on that man and saying what he said because he lost his life. He lost his life. It's just sad. It's just unfortunate. But yeah, y'all, in closing, guard those tongues. All right. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. Why put yourself in the ground prematurely when you don't have to? And that's exactly what you're going to do. All right. It's foolish to do so. As we mature, we learn to season those words with salt, make them easier for the person receiving them to digest so that you don't go into those types of conflicts. All right. Again, the world is mad. We've all agreed on that. So you have to be careful. If you didn't know, now you know because I just gave you the message. All right, y'all. And thanks, First Lady. I will check my Cash App. You're always blessing me, honey. And I truly appreciate it. You already know what it is. I truly appreciate it. Hey, hey, Looney Tunes. Welcome in. Good morning to you as well, y'all. I got to hop on up off of here so I can get ready to get the kids out for school. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. And yes, First Lady, your tongue is lethal. Be more mindful of what you disperse from your mouth. Once it leaves, you cannot take it back. It's out there. Thank you for sharing that and saying that, First Lady, because you are absolutely correct. All right. But yeah, have a wonderful morning, everybody. I hope you guys have a great, wonderful, blessed day. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. All right. An enemy wants to catch us slipping, but we want to make sure we're always 10 steps ahead of the game. All right. Again, have a blessed day, everyone. Thank y'all so much for being here. If you didn't hit the like button coming in, do me a favor. Hit that bad boy on the way going out. And thank you for sitting here with me today on this morning, y'all. Today on this morning. Thank y'all for sitting here with me as I gave y'all this motivational little spat on this morning. Just something to think about, y'all. All right. All right. Peace out. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.